Hey guys, happy Monday. This is take two for us because Alexa started talking and then the robot started talking. So I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful beginning of your week. And we just wanted to jump on really quickly and give you a quick update on us and then do a quick Monday Motivator. We wanted to just share, I know it's been a couple weeks since we've been on. We've had a lot going on. God has been moving so fast in our life, faster than we can almost keep up. So I'm going to try to share in very few moments of what's been going on with us in the last couple of months. So starting back in December, the Lord really began to move on our hearts for some really radical things. And we have not entertained the idea of moving, selling our home, doing anything like that. And the Lord began to kind of move on our hearts in December. This may be something I want you to do. And we're like, we rebuke that in the name of Jesus. But as always, we just kept praying about things. So then when we came together, we were praying together, Oscar's like, I'm kind of feeling that urge too, but I can't tell if it's fear, if it's God. And I was kind of in the same position. So we wound up, go ahead.
I hate moving. Being in the military, moving a lot. I just hate moving, I hate packing up. And when that feeling came up, I was like, oh no, not again. This was supposed to be the last time to move. Actually, The last time I thought was the last time to move. So when we moved here, it was like, oh, okay, this is the last time.
Yes.
So
we planned on dying here.
yes. So okay, go ahead.
So anyway, so then we decided to put a fleece out before the Lord. And for those who don't know what that means, basically in the Bible, there's times that it's kind of a way of saying, Lord, if this is what you want us to do, could you please do this and let us know? Now, this doesn't always work out. But when it's really big things in life, sometimes it does. So we agreed to put a fleece before the Lord that, God, if you want us to sell our home, bring us a buyer. We don't have the time or energy or desire to go through the process of getting the house ready to put on the market, having strangers walking through your house all the time. I was like, Lord, it's just not something, especially during COVID, it's just not something that I wanted. So we agreed to pray for that. And so while we were praying for that, and we just kind of agreed with that with the Lord, as we were praying, I had this kind of flash in my head. And for those who don't know us very well, we both have prophetic giftings. He's a prophetic dreamer. He will dream about things that he'll see in the future, or dream about people that we need to pray for. And he really sees that really clearly. He also, sometimes when we're praying for people, he can kind of see infirmities and things on people. So, and then for me, it's more, the Lord will give me an image. So he just give me a real quick image in my head. And so a lot of times if I'm where I can start writing something down, or I'll just sit and keep kind of praying and milling on it, and the Lord will kind of paint me this kind of picture. Also, like if you see me at church sometimes and it's the middle of the praise and worship and I just kind of sit down and I'm either writing in a book or I'm texting on my phone. I'm texting my phone because I forgot my book at home. But that's the Lord has given me a picture, or he's starting to tell me something and I have to sit down and write it down. So while we were praying, I saw this image, which was the most ridiculous image I'd ever seen in my life. And I kind of laughed and I was like, what is it? And I was like, I just saw something, and let's just keep praying. So we just kept praying. And I said, babe, I saw something and I really want you to just pray with me with this. Because we were trying to decide, like, okay, if for some crazy reason God wanted to sell the house, what would we do? And I said, I saw this image of us in an RV traveling. And we talked about traveling when all of the children were gone. Like he said, the first time we did this, we talked about doing this when, Justin, Maddie, and Russell were all married off, but like flying to different places for a couple weeks and then coming back to our life. We never thought about that being our life for a while. And he laughed. He laughed. He's like, well, but okay, we'll pray about it. Excuse me. So then a couple days before I went in the hospital, I said, well, do you mind if we go and look at an RV? Because I've not seen an RV in 25 years. And I think you said
I've never been in an RV.
Never been in an RV.
I never, I've never actually stayed in an RV, so I
just didn't know.
Didn't know.
So we agreed to go look at a couple. And so we just went and looked to see even what was out there, just to see if this was going to be a hard no for me. I definitely do not consider myself a high maintenance person. I'm a very high maintenance person. He cuts my hair twice a year. He's pretty simple person. But I do have standards. And so this did not seem to be in my wellhouse. But we knew if it was God, if it's God, it'll grow. If it's not, it'll go. So we went and looked. There's 1,000 different options. There's tons of different features. And we're like, okay, well, it's not a hard no because there's some of them look really nice. So let's just keep praying about it.
Actually, I was pretty surprised. Some of them are, the ones way out of our range. They're really nice. They're very, they're pretty nice.
They're pretty.
They're pretty.
And so we just decided to keep praying. So I went in the hospital. And I had a lot of time to watch videos. I watched like 1 million videos. I was in the hospital. I sent him a ton of them. And he's like, babe, I'm not sitting in the hospital doing nothing. I don't have time to watch all these. So I tried to start limiting how many I was sending. But just I was shocked at how many people out there actually do, like they live in our, and some of these people do it with kids, like little kids. And I'm like, I don't think I love my children. We also loved having space for my children to go play. So I'm not sure I'd been like all in one room all the time. But everybody has their, heart. So a week into the hospital stay, we get a phone call from a dear friend of ours, Larry and Gracia. He is from Healing Rooms of Springfield. I'm not exactly sure what they call them. I was going to say Healing Rooms of the Heartland, but that's in Cape. So they lead the Healing Rooms here in Springfield. And they had been praying with us since December, just about all of it. There's his health. We've been praying for healing. We've been praying for situations with all of our finances in the house and all the different things. And so he called me, he goes, look, he said, have you guys considered selling your home? Maybe. Why? And so he went on to tell us that he had been contacted by a gentleman who'd been looking for a small farm for his family. And he felt by the Lord led to call Larry and say, Larry, would you pray with me? And do you know anyone? And Larry said, the first thing I saw was Oscar's face. And so I said, well, get details. And so we got details. We swapped all that information. And what their budget was just a little bit less than what we were hoping to get from the house ourselves, just to pay it off and have a little bit to put toward whatever our next step was. And then he wound up having the gentleman call me. So we got to talking, and I shared our heart. This is our dream home. We really had no intention of selling, but we did put out a fleece before the Lord. So this, we're entertaining the idea. And so the more we talked, he's like, this is everything it sounds like I've dreamed for my family. And so we agreed to meet after I got out of the hospital. So they came out, they saw the farm, they fell in love with it. And they decided that, yes, this is what they wanted to do. And in the meantime, we had really been praying about it. And even though we felt I can't speak for you. I felt very like, I don't want to, God.
Yeah. This is our home.
Yeah. And there was just something about this home that it's something that we've loved. We've loved every bit of it. And anyway, but it's just a thing. But for us, it had meant a whole lot more than that, But anyway, so we have agreed, and we are now in contract with this beautiful family whom we hope to be friends with them for years to come in the future. They're just absolutely precious. They have 4 children, which now we have no children in the house. Maddie comes periodically, and even when she's here on break, she's, busy and she's got things to do. And this house is huge. And so it's definitely more than we need.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. We talked about it too, because a friend of mine was like, now, are you two going to be okay being like stuck in such a small place together?
Well, the good thing is at least we like each other.
We do like each other. So. That's a good thing. And we talked about the fact that in this home, there's 3 living rooms. So there's a family room upstairs, which we have a TV and a big sectional up there. And when all the kids are here or we have parties, whatever, that's where we always hang out. We have the living room that's on the main floor, which we have a TV on the wall, and, it's open to the kitchen and everything else. And then downstairs, we have a living room that's a man cave, and it's got the projector with it's like a TV room. And I told Oscar, I said, if you think about it, if you're not outside working on the farm, and I'm not seeing clients or working in the office,
we're here.
We're right here. Even if we're doing different tasks, if I'm reading and he's watching something, if he's watching something I don't want to hear, like, he hasn't done this a long time, but he was listening to zombie movies. I don't even like the sound of it. As I said, it's been a while, but I would just put in earbuds and just sit here and read or do something or play on my phone in earbuds. So regardless of what we're doing, we're always just together.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing we like each other. So we were like, okay, I think this is going to work. So we then started looking for RVs. Like, okay, is this going to be a viable option for us? Excuse me. And we found one that we loved. I had two standards. I had to have a washer and dryer and a second bedroom because one, Maddie,
And a bathroom.
And well, of course it's going to have a bathroom. Of course, yes. I'm sorry, and a bathroom. Of course, Maddie needed to have a room that when she was out of school or whatever, wanted to come, or anybody wanted to come, any of the kids, we had space for that. And also so I could continue to work. Excuse me, because as a counselor right now, I see clients via telehealth. And as long as insurance is covering that, I plan on doing that for the foreseeable future. I like that because, one, you don't have to wear pants if you don't want to. I always wear pants. But I don't always wear shoes or socks.
She wears pajamas most of the time.
Sometimes I wear like black sweatpants.
Pajamas.
I learned really quickly not to wear like things that don't match, because if you have to stand up and you've got like a beautiful floral shirt on and like green plaid pants, sweatpants on, that does not look good. So I always make sure I match, but I love the idea of telehealth. So I would be able to do that no matter where we are. And this winter, even after like we already agreed, we're in the process, we found an RV we like, we put a down payment on it. When it got down to 25 below zero.
This winter was really hard on me. With my health, it really declined with my pituitary because of everything going on. My pituitary functions have really took a nosedive. Actually,
almost non-functional.
Yes, I guess you could say the death of my pituitary. It was really hard on me. Normally, I love the cold. I mean, I'd rather it be cold than hot. I mean, it was miserable. I couldn't function in the cold. I mean, I'm freezing all the time. The house could be 70, 72. I mean, we keep it about 70 degrees in the house. I got 4 covers in bed. I mean, she's burning up. I'm freezing.
I think I'm approaching menopause, so I'm even hotter than normal. So that's a problem.
When it was like below zero out here, I couldn't take care. I couldn't do anything outside. I mean, I was just miserable.
And when we had to go outside, I tried to help him as much as I could.
And then she couldn't because it was just. I mean, she couldn't breathe. So I mean, it was just so hard. I mean, I could only function a couple hours, about an hour, hour and a half, if that. Then I had to come in and warm up. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just so hard on me.
So I was going to say the hardest day, he was out there with our dear friend CJ, and his tractor had gummed up. It was so cold, even with treatment, the diesel just froze up in his tractor. So Oscar had to go out and spent a little bit more time out there than he should have. And when he came in, he was almost paralyzed. He was frozen. And he's like, get me out of it, get me out of it, get me out of it. And so I'm like, taking the clothes off, and I pulled up a chair behind him.
I had my coveralls. I had sweat.
He had several layers.
I had several layers, and I mean, I was just freezing. And I was just so numb. I mean, I just couldn't function. Even when we had my doctor's, I was a couple of days later, had a doctor's appointment, and she was like, she said it made sense that given everything that's going on with his hormones and the thyroid and the whole pituitary not functioning correctly, it makes a lot of sense that you'd have a severe cold intolerance. So, but that day in particular, when I pulled up a chair behind me, sat down, and he did become weepy and was like, I can't do this anymore. And it just was for me that confirmation that, okay, the Lord knows what he's doing. And as much as we love this and we love our farm, we know that God is in it. And I don't think I mentioned this time that when they came, they actually said that they were interested in buying 2 of our cows and our chickens and some of our furniture. And so, again, we've seen God moving in every step of the way. The deal we got on the RV that we are planning on purchasing once the house sells is definitely something that will be very comfortable for us. It's going to be a different lifestyle for a minute, so it's going to be different. But we've seen God move so much in this last few months. And we also know that God has amazing things for us. We know that he has called us to just do his work, whatever that means, wherever that is. And I feel like by us being a little more mobile, we'll be able to do that.
My mom's not been in the best of health, so being able to take the RV to Alabama and be able to spend time and be there is really important. Being able to take him to the beach. I promised him he'd get to see the turtles hatching. That's something he really wants to do. So we're going to take him to see the turtles hatching. And we're just excited. So at this point, now you know how plans go. When you make plans, you make God laugh. So all of this is flexible. So please know that. But right now our plan is to, after the close of the house, get the RV, and then our original stop was going to be Branson. However, that may change. Some of that's in flux. That's kind of where we are right now. And we know God will direct us exactly where he wants us to be. And in the meantime, we have a month. We're going to close the first week of April. All things, going right, is us having to downsize our home. So the last 2 weeks has been just a lot of tears.
I think what we're going to stay locally for a little bit until Maddie, I think, adjusts as well.
Yeah.
Supposedly, don't know.
We assume there's wedding bells in her future.
It's kind of the dates up in the air. We heard fall this fall. Don't know.
And whatever, however that works out. We know, once she gets back in school in the fall, even if it's going to be next spring before she gets married, it would be okay for us to go for a while. And then we could just fly her down if we're in Florida, we can just fly her down there during Thanksgiving break, fly her back to school, fly her down at Christmas time, because we don't think we want to winter here.
Yeah.
I think we're going to officially become snowbirds, which is a little weird.
But I think for right now, we're going to stay locally until this transition gets her...
At least till the summer, at least to the summer, possibly through October. So again, all of this is kind of in flux, and we know that God has a plan, and we genuinely live on that idea that the Lord orchestrates the steps of his people. Now, he doesn't always give you a map.
Yeah.
That would be so nice. He just doesn't do that. So one of the things that for my Monday Motivator, I wanted to share that was really connected to what we've been going through was be faithful. We've been going through Ruth at our church, which is an amazing book. I've read the story probably 100 times, but it's kind of been brought to life for the first time in a long time. And the one thing that we learned about Ruth is that she was faithful. She was faithful to everyone that the Lord put in her path, even when that person wasn't necessarily giving her good advice. She was faithful to them, and she was obedient. And if Oscar and I haven't learned anything in the last 18 years, is as long as you're faithful to the Lord and you just move when he says move, do what he says do, he's going to be faithful to you. In this moment in our life, for me, now it's been interesting to watch. It's been a little bit of a different situation for the two of us, just in how we cope and the things that we're attached to and things like that. But we both cannot see beyond a few months. And everybody makes plans for the future, but at this point, we literally feel like we're driving blind a little bit. But the fear is not there because we know that God's faithful. If we're faithful to him, he's faithful to us. And so, this has literally been probably the most intense season of growing I think I've ever been through. And literally learning, and the Lord just even reminded me yesterday at church about... Because for us, this is a huge leap of faith because we believe that, the government is not in the best state, that maybe they're not trustable. We've seen all the stuff with the vaccine, that there's a good chance that at some point, if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, which is biblical. So we've literally taken measures to be able to grow our own food, butcher our own animals, be able to provide, doing a garden, being able to take care of ourselves and live on the land. And here on this farm, we've been able to do that. We've been able to provide all of these resources for ourselves. And so we're like, God, we don't understand. We learned what you wanted us to learn. We've learned how to do a garden. We learned how to butcher. We're learning these things. Now you want us to give all that up?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So then he reminded me that yesterday about numerous times, years and years and years ago, that Oscar, and we just stopped trying. We just know that anytime we put money aside, one for us, We were trying to do the Dave Ramsey plan, and every time we got like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 in our savings, a missionary would come through, or something would happen, and God would be like, "Give him $1,000," and He'd always tell us both, and it was like, ugh. But God, that was we were saving that for an emergency. Like, don't you see that we're trying to be obedient? God, fine. And we always did it. And so that's the one thing I love. Oscar and I couldn't be more different personality wise. Excuse me, but we have the same heart. And so we would always do it. And the Lord reminded me of numerous times that happened. And He said, I was, one, testing you to see if you trusted me enough to give up the resources that you had prepared. And two, I was kind of preparing you that He knew in the future there was going to be a moment where He'd ask us to give up almost everything just because He said so. So for me, it's definitely been a step of faith. It's a step of faith. And so for you, maybe God is asking you to do something that doesn't make sense in the flesh, or that you're like, God, I don't see how you could make that work. It's okay. You just have to continue to be faithful. And so that, and anything from you about faithfulness or what you're seeing?
I think the big thing is, as long as you stay faithful, and He'll always take care of you. I know there are times where it doesn't seem like he's there, or he's going to be, managed. He's always going to be there.
Yeah.
There are times, I guess the big thing is, like when we first got married, when we got married, went from one household to two households. Our finances, when my pay cut got called when I was going through the engineer program.
Yeah.
And, even though the numbers didn't add up, but yet we were still
okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
And that's being faithful,
Yeah.
faithful in your tithe, being
Yeah.
faithful in, and a lot of times you'll hear pastors preach about being faithful, talking about tithe.
Right.
But it's not just tithe, it's your time.
Right.
If God says, hey, I want you to give up your free time to go minister to these people, are you going to be faithful to Him? Maybe He's told you that your job right now are your children. Are you being faithful with them? Are you taking the time they need to grow productive members of society? And that's one thing that we've talked about a few times recently, is that we never spent our money taking trips or buying toys or doing these things, because our priority was always making sure the kids had what they needed, making sure our children understood the value of money, and just raising productive members of society. And I am so proud to say that we have a soldier, a police officer, and a missionary as children. And so to me, it makes me feel like the investment was worth it. It was worth not having all of those fun things to raise productive members of society. And that's your job. So maybe that's what God's asking you to be faithful with. Or maybe you're like, I don't know what He wants me to be faithful with. If you ask Him to show you, He will show you. So, excuse me. I know that, like I said, it's been a long time since we've actually come on and done an update. We really do apologize about that. Like I said, there's been a lot of tears and a lot of, God, I don't understand. And we really wanted to, one, make sure we had the information of what was actually going to happen, at least in the next month. And two, we wanted to talk to our family about it first. And I've been a little shocked. I don't know, I guess I was expecting our family to be like, well, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Da, 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 da. Every one of our family members has been like, well, good for you guys. Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times so far I've heard, oh my gosh, you'll be living my dream. And I'm like, well, I'm glad it's your dream. It was not mine. But I decided to stop complaining and whining and being like, God, why? I'm getting there. I am a work in progress. We just wanted to share with you guys, because we do know so many of you pray for us. You support us, just being there, calling and checking on us. And we wanted to let you know that your prayers do not go unanswered. We are the absolute worst at sending thank you cards.
Yeah.
We have a stack of them, but we've just literally not had the time to sit down and do them. And so there's so many people that we need to thank, and maybe when we're on the RV and we have a lot more time and we're not chasing cows and chickens and cleaning a huge house all the time, maybe we'll have time to get those things done. But please do not think, since you haven't gotten a thank you card, that we are not eternally grateful for your love and your support and your encouragement. Because without you and without Jesus, we would not have survived this season. So I got a camera hog over here who's wanting to get involved. Yes, dear. So we love you guys. We will keep you up to date as to the progress of what's going on. We will definitely maybe try to throw a party or do something before we leave the area, so that we get a chance to see our friends and family that we've made here in the Springfield area. And to be clear, we'll be back at least every 3 months because Oscar gets treatments. I still have to see my doctor in St. Louis. And so we will, Ava, we will be back in town at least every 3 months. So if you've done RVing, call me. If you have tips, suggestions, or if you like to pack stuff, please call me. We have a nice schedule that I made when I was in the hospital, which our husband has not followed, because I thought if we packed one section at a time, it wouldn't be as messy. But I've now found that packing a house this big and getting rid of stuff is not, there's just no way to do it not messy. So either way we go, just wanted to let you know, if you like to pack or you like to move heavy stuff or you like to just be involved in any way, please call us. We are always up for help. Tuesdays and Fridays I work, but most other days we are doing some form of packing at this point. And then, like I said, we'll do a party or something, maybe at a local, restaurant or something,
McDonald's.
Just to have McDonald's. So everybody can swing by and say hi.
We can go down to the little play area.
Or the play area, yes. That sounds like a Sanchez kind of party. The best news of all is that my grandson is coming, and his parents, or parent, like they're important, just kidding. My grandson is coming March 11th, I think it is.
That's what you said, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I will be a much happier person just being able to hold that precious baby. So we were so excited about that. And I was like, okay, Lord, well, we'll use that excuse to get to see them, but they're coming to help, or Ashley's coming to help. Russell didn't get a chance to come because of the military stuff, which we understand. So anyway, anything else you can think of? All right. Oh, Alexa, stop the alarm. I got to get ready to go to physical therapy. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. And we will definitely be keeping you in touch, in the loop of what's going on. I'll post our phone numbers down below in the comments so that if you do want to reach out to us, if you have wisdom or ideas, or if you want to help, we are all about getting help right now to packing because this is a mess, or just a lot. We appreciate it. So love you guys. And we are going to be doing a blog. So we haven't come up with a cute name yet. We're still working on it.
Cute name.
It's got to have a cute name. So as soon as we know the cute name, we're just going to do it's a vlog.
RVing for dummies.
Which is probably not inaccurate. So anyway, all right. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.